Hi, everybody. I have been thinking about Queen Elizabeth II all day, all week. Her funeral today was very emotional for my family. Not only do we think she was a great leader, but she looks so much like my mom and my aunts, all of whom are gone and we miss very much. So that made her death even more emotional for us. But after I watched it today, I wanted to think about something happy. And I realized I do have a happy memory related to her, because I actually had a very funny encounter with Queen Elizabeth in 1986. I was in London for just one day as part of a European trip, and a friend of mine who lived outside of London had written a little map on a napkin for me so that I could just see some of the biggest sights in central London. And so I took the train in to town, and I started out at Westminster Abbey and walked around there. I saw that, pretty impressive, and then I walk on, then the next thing on the map is the Houses of Parliament. So I wanted to go see that. So I walked over there, and it was very, very crowded. And I couldn't figure out why all these people, I mean, really, a lot of people. It was obvious something was going on. And so I asked the Bobby, the policeman, what was happening, and he said that Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip were expected any minute. And I thought, well, that's worth hanging around for a little bit, but I don't like crowds, so I didn't stay where everyone else was. I walked about 1 or 2 blocks further down the street, and of course, as an American, I'm assuming that they were going to be coming a different route, pulling up. But in fact, where I was standing, I was right on the edge of the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I heard flap, 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 the sound of flags. They had little UK flags on the front of the limousine that they were in. It's called the Phantom limousine, and it has huge picture windows. I mean, the windows were really big. It was so easy to see inside of this limousine. It wasn't something that they would take if they wanted to hide. So here it came around the corner, and I had a split second when I realized I was going to see the Queen, and I thought, if I were the Queen, I wouldn't want to see a camera up to someone's face. I would rather see a smiling face. So I didn't pick my camera up. So when she came by, we weren't more than a yard apart. We were so close. And she was looking right at me because there was no one around me. And I guess I got kind of flustered. It didn't even occur to me to curtsy or bow. I didn't know what to do. So instead, I just did like a little wave like this. It was kind of just a jerky back and forth, like a silly little wave, and I smiled at her. And, she was doing the whatever kind of wave they do, but she looked really beautiful, much prettier in person than in photographs. And so they went on by, and it was such a thrill. And the Bobby even walked over to me and said, "I can't believe it, you saw her so close," And I looked down, and they were getting out of the limousine at the Parliament building then, and you could see her still because she wore such brightly colored clothes and hats so that people could pick her out of a crowd from far away. And I see why, because I did take a picture when she got out of the limousine. I don't have it with me because I just moved, but I do have it, and all I could tell people was, see that purple dress and hat down there, that's Queen Elizabeth. So I was very excited, and I turned around and I kept walking, and I went through St. James Park, which is the next thing on my map, strolled around, and I couldn't stay for that long because it had just rained and all of the chairs were wet, so I just kept walking, and pretty soon I'm at Buckingham Palace. And where I came out of the park, I didn't come down through what they call the mall, the big street that leads directly to the big fountain, Victoria Fountain that they call the wedding cake. I didn't come down that road. I came through the park. So when I came out, I wasn't right in front of the palace. I was off to the left, sort of at the corner of the palace grounds where there was a big fence and a gate. Well, so I was going to cross over and go to look at the palace. So I crossed halfway across the street. So now I'm standing on the concrete embankment in the middle of the road. And sure enough, I hear flap, 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 flap. So I know who's coming. So sure enough, around the corner, here comes a limousine again. Now the Queen is sitting on the right side. So again, she and I are an arm's length away from each other. And I just couldn't believe I got to see her twice in one day. I was so amazed. Well, it gets better. There was no one around me again. And when they got close enough for us to see each other, she looked at me like surprised, pointed at me, and went like this, and perfectly mimicked my little wave, like this. And she did the little smile that I had. And just like that, she and Prince Philip and I all burst out laughing. It was so, and then they turned into the gate, and they were gone. But I thought, oh my gosh, not only this woman's hilarious, she has such a great sense of humor, but imagine the memory that took, because she had just been in the middle of a ton of people, and she went into Parliament for like, who knows, half an hour at least. Think of all the people that she met in the meantime. And she still recognized, this little girl, I was 20, I don't know what, 7 at the time, and remembered my wave. I just thought she was a remarkable person. Anyway, that's my Queen Elizabeth story, and it still just makes me laugh when I think of it. I wish, I'm glad I smiled at her instead of taking a picture, but I wish that I'd had a documentarian or someone behind me with a movie camera so that I could have seen it again. But I can still see it in my mind. Anyway, thanks. Bye.